Hello everyone, today is 14th of April, now it's 15 past 9 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Later on today, about 9 o'clock, I will have a traditional Sunday live stream on main YouTube channel, and during that stream I will share with you additional information that will be reported by Russian media during the day, and also if I receive some questions from members of our community through PayPal, Boosty, Patreon, or during the live stream through donation alerts, then I will answer to those questions also. That's been said, let's talk about news now. And first of all, short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. I know main topic right now is Iranian strike on Israel, but I will get to that topic. But first of all, short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. And according to reports from Russian media and Russian military channels, Defense Ministry confirmed information that Pervomayskaya settlement, which is southern flank of Avdiivka direction, Avdiivka sector, is under full Russian control. I reported about it a couple of days ago, but as always, Russian Defense Ministry, being quite conservative institution, only now confirmed this information. Also, by the way, Kiev regime forces are deploying additional units towards Nitailova settlement, which is right next to Pervomayskaya. According to some reports, forward units of Russian armed forces already entered Nitailova, and during this redeployment of reserves by Kiev regime towards Nitailova, Russian armed forces conducted strikes on this reinforcement, and number of military vehicles of Kiev regime was destroyed, including tanks. Also, almost the same story had happened in Novokalinovo. As I reported yesterday and day before, Russian armed forces established foothold in Novokalinovo settlement, and Kiev regime tried to force Russian units out of this settlement. They bring some reinforcements, but Russian forces repel this attempt of Kiev regime to conduct local-scale offensive operation, and a number of military vehicles, including tanks, once again have been destroyed. And after losing a significant number of manpower and military equipment, Kiev regime forces retreat basically, and stop attempting to attack Russian side. Also, of course, Chisov Yar is a main hotspot right now on the battlefield, and according to reports that Russian media is sharing with the public, Russian units are continuing to conduct offensive operations towards Kalinina settlement, which is northern side of Chisov Yar. More channels are reporting that Bogdanovka is under full Russian control, although Russian Defense Ministry did not yet confirm this information. Maybe we will hear about it today from the Defense Ministry, maybe tomorrow. And Russian armed forces improving their positions inside the Canal district of Chisov Yar itself. There are some reports that Kiev region forces deploying additional troops towards Chisov Yar also, especially towards this Canal district, to hold on to this area as long as possible. But if we take in account low morale of Kiev regime forces, then and lack of manpower, military equipment, and so on, probably it is highly unlikely that Kiev regime will manage to hold on to Canal district and then to Chisov Yar for a long time. And well, basically this is it for a short summary. Kiev regime forces also deploying or trying to deploy reinforcements towards Razdolovka, Fyodorovka area, but Ukrainian armored column was tracked by Russian forces, and after strikes, during which several military vehicles, including tanks, were destroyed, Kiev region forces change their mind and retreat to initial positions. This is it when it comes to short summary. I remind you, dear friends, that military channels are providing great volume of information on local scale skirmishes on line of contact. And if you are not familiar with the military channels, then under this video in the description box I have a recommendation list of the channels that I follow, and among them you can find the military channels. Also, as I said, they are providing great volume of information on daily basis about these local scale skirmishes. I will continue with some additional news, because after all, I can understand that sometimes members of our community are commenting that they want some more information about this situation on line of contact, but I'm not military channel, dear friends. I'm reporting about news that is relevant in Russia, about reports in Russian media, which is not always and not necessarily just about Ukrainian conflict. Anyway, let's continue. And now, of course, major topic for this morning, which is that Iran conducted retaliatory strike on Israel. According to reports from different sources, from 200 to 300 drones and missiles have been launched by Tehran towards Israel, and the vast majority of them, yet again according to reports, have been neutralized. Although IDF confirms that to one of the military bases of Israeli Defense Forces received some damage. IDF is saying that it's a minor damage. We cannot know for sure, because of course, Israeli side will try to minimize whatever damage was done in its statements, and Iran will say exactly the opposite, that all targets were destroyed. In any case, according to reports, strike anticipated by entire world strike has happened, and Iranian leadership made statements that well, this operation is ended now. Well, also RT is reporting that US helped Israel to take down nearly all Iranian drones and missiles. This was stated by President of US Joe Biden. Hardly anyone has had any doubts that US will support Israel to repel Iranian strike. And this is first time, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, when Iran conducted direct strike on Israel. Also, RIA Novosti is reporting that yesterday afternoon, before Iran launched its drones and missiles towards Israel, Iran's special forces detained a container ship in Hormuz Strait that had a connection with Israel. MCS Aris, that's the name of this container ship. Israel, US, and a number of some other countries' high-ranking officials condemned this action of Iranian side, although I don't think Tehran cares that much about these condemnations from its official enemies, basically. Vzгляд newspaper, and now let's talk about some other news also. Vzгляд newspaper is reporting that well, Russian Defense Ministry, as I already mentioned in the beginning, confirms that settlement Pervomaiskaya on Avdiivka direction, which is of course Donetsk People's Republic, geographically speaking, have been liberated by Russian armed forces. I reported about Russian progress in Pervomaiskaya quite a while ago, but Defense Ministry only now confirmed this information. TASS news agency also reporting that Russian air defense systems shut down 5 Ukrainian drones over the Black Sea fleet. These drones were headed towards Crimean Peninsula. No casualties, of course, and the damage on the ground. All drones were neutralized over the sea. RIA Novosti is also reporting that as a result of recent strike on Tokmak by Kiev regime forces massive strike on residential areas of Tokmak. Number of killed civilians reach 16. Unfortunately, this strike happened on Friday, by the way. Once again, Zelensky and his criminal associates are doing whatever they can to harm as many civilians as possible, and they are nowadays they don't even care to target military areas. They are shelling civilian residential areas, which is not really surprising, because after all, Zelensky and his criminal associates, they all are mass murderers, neo-Nazis and terrorists. RT is reporting that Kiev is pressing individual EU states for air defense systems, according to Financial Times. Ukraine is pressing Poland, Spain and Romania for air defense systems after other Western states spurned its request, the Financial Times claims on Friday, citing sources close to discussions. This comes after a recent wave of Russian airstrikes against the country's energy infrastructure. And, well, yesterday or day before, I saw on one of the channels information that Poland already answered to Kiev regime, and the Polish leadership said that they don't have any more air defense system to spare with the Kiev regime, and I guess all the other countries, or majority of the other countries, will do the same. And same time, by the way, according to some reports, Germany have been pressed by Washington to transfer to Kiev regime at least one battery of Patriot air defense systems. I don't know how to tell if this reporting is correct. We will learn about it in upcoming days, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Washington will order Berlin, occupation government of Germany, under leadership of Scholz and the rest of their puppets of the CIA, to deliver to Kiev regime all air defense systems that Germany has, and probably Scholz will do this. I don't think he will have any options. After all, he's a dirty puppet of CIA, that's all, and entire his government. Vzglyad newspaper is also reporting about deployment of additional reserves towards Chisov Yar. I also mentioned this earlier during this update. According to Igor Kimakovsky, aide of head of DPR, Kiev regime is deploying additional reinforcement towards Chisov Yar, especially towards Canal district, because Kiev understands that after Canal district will become under full Russian control, then they will be opening at least to conduct offensive operations to three directions towards the rest of the Chisov Yar. And I remind you, dear friends, that Canal district located on the eastern side of this irrigation channel, and the rest of the Chisov Yar located on the western part. RIA Novosti is also reporting that head of general staff of Ukraine issued a decree, order basically, to Ukraine's so-called Ukraine's military armed forces to strengthen discipline in their units. And this is after number of informations have been spread on the internet, including in Ukraine and on Ukrainian Telegram channels, that soldiers are refusing. There are many instances when soldiers are refusing to obey orders, threatening officers, and leaving positions without order. Clear evidences of low morale and difficulties with the discipline. And Sirski was forced basically to acknowledge this and issue order to strengthen discipline. I don't think it will work. Most likely Kiev regime will deploy its neo-Nazi units in several directions to scare as much as possible Ukraine's military, forcefully mobilized militaries in those areas, but I don't think they have enough neo-Nazis and mass murderers and terrorists to threaten everybody, all several 100,000 of military personnel in Ukraine. And therefore, most likely, further deterioration of the morale and discipline in Ukrainian army will continue and only increase in speed, most likely. And in 2-3 months' time, probably we will see beginning of the end of Ukrainian armed forces as a more or less capable entity. Kiev regime is barely managing, or even unable to manage, to hold on to positions in several directions. For example, Avdiivka sector is, I mean, whenever Kiev regime tries to hold on to positions, they are unable to do so. There are some other directions where we clearly see whenever Russian side increasing pressure, Kiev regime forces falling back and retreating or running away, or there are increased instances when units of Ukrainian armed forces are surrendering. And therefore, I guess another 2-3 months, and most likely we will see collapse. We will see beginning of the collapse of Ukrainian armed forces as a capable institution. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting that, well, according to governor of Kherson region, Vladimir Saldo, Kiev regime is mining Kherson itself, preparing buildings in Kherson for street fights. Recently, I reported about mining of the fields in Kherson, in Kiev-controlled parts of Kherson region, or the right bank of the Dnieper River. And well, even though I don't expect any large-scale Russian offensive operation in any direction, Kherson, Zaporozhye, Dnipropetrovsk, or Kharkov, I know some Western media outlets are pushing this narrative that Russia will conduct some large-scale offensive operation now this summer. Even some military channels, by the way, neutral military channels, are sharing similar approach that Russian large-scale offensive operation is about to start. Although, as I explained in previous updates, I'm a little skeptical of that, because I don't see any reason why would Russian side conduct large-scale offensive operations right now when things are working quite okay for Russian side, and Russian armed forces demilitarizing Kiev regime on current line of contact quite effectively. I can see Russian large-scale offensives and decisive actions once Kiev regime forces will start to collapse and this chain reaction will become unstoppable. I can see Russian large-scale offensive operation and decisive actions when Kiev regime will be close to capitulate or will capitulate. But right now, no. Why? Why should Russian side conduct a large-scale offensive operation right now? It does not make any sense to me personally. And therefore, Kiev regime may mine whatever areas they want, or prepare for street fights in any city they want. But as I said, until Kiev regime forces will collapse and Kiev will be ready to capitulate, I don't think Russian armed forces will conduct large-scale offensive operations. There is no need in that. RIA Novosti is reporting that unfortunately, situation with the flooding in Russia is still very difficult. And in Orenburg region, for example, where floodings are most severe, during the previous 24 hours, another 1,000 buildings have been flooded, and simultaneously in other parts of the Orenburg region, more than 1,000 water has seceded from another, it's the right word, isn't it? water levels dropped, and there are more than 1,000 buildings are now free of flooding. So it's these flood waters are moving as a wave, basically, and in areas where flood began initially, water is decreasing, water levels are decreasing, but in other areas of the Orenburg region, water levels are still increasing before this wave will pass. And simultaneously flooding are happening in neighboring Kazakhstan regions, neighboring regions of the Kazakhstan. RT is reporting that EU nation may halt Russian gas imports by 2028, according to media reports. Well, Austrian Energy Minister Leonor Gewessler has revealed plan to eliminate the country's energy reliance on Moscow in less than half a decade. The Courier newspaper reported on Friday, citing the draft legislation. Well, what can I say? Good luck with that. If you don't want to buy Russian pipeline gas, no one is forcing you. I mean, you may enjoy twice expensive US LNG. I mean, it's your decision. And meanwhile, of course, Russia has learned its lessons, and of course, more investments will go towards additional LNG plants, towards additional projects that will supply Russian pipeline gas or LNG or some other commodities, including oil and everything, basically, towards global south, because that's emerging, that's #1 market, by the way, of the world right now, with immense potential, So, and by the way, I will end this update with this news that African nation is to use Russian payment system MIR. So Mali is interested in using Russia's MIR payment system. Badra Alou Coulibaly, the West African nation's general controller of public services, told RIA Novosti in an interview published on Friday. So, well, that's quite a good news. Some countries under pressure of the Washington, London, and Brussels are refusing to use or to continue service of Russian MIR cards, but other countries are joining this program. And eventually, by the way, all these issues with finances and transactions will be resolved only when BRICS will come up with the alternative financial and banking system and alternative world reserve currency. Before that, unfortunately, entire world has to face illegal actions of Western ruling elites when they are using Western financial and banking system, Western currencies as a weapon against everybody that they don't like. It is just a sad reality of the modern times. And that's it for today's update. Quite short video. Hopefully you will find it somewhat informative, interesting, and useful. And if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. This is the only way we can influence algorithm to reach wider audience, likes and comments. And for very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos with your friends on any of the platforms that you are actively using. And finally, if you think this channel is interesting, useful, and informative, and deserves to exist, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And this is it for now. As I said in the beginning, 9 o'clock today evening, Moscow time, I will have a live stream on traditional Sunday live stream on my YouTube channel, and I will share with you additional news that will be reported during the day by Russian media. And same time, if I receive any questions from members of our community through PayPal, Boosty, or Patreon, or during the live stream itself through donation alerts, then of course I will try my best to answer to those questions also. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.